Good afternoon, Atlanta. Welcome to Veterans Today. You're listening to WCEG Network, the new WCEG Network. We are WCEGTalkRadio.com. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and there are several options that you have to join the conversation today. As I stated earlier, by watching us on Facebook and YouTube, we are live streaming. You can
Hello?
watch us on your smart devices
Hello?
at WCEG Network, WCEG Talk Radio, WCEGTalkRadio.com, uh, lyvradio.com/WCEG. You can follow us on Twitter at hashtag WCEG Network, hashtag WCEG Talk Radio, and hashtag Soldiers Source Solution also. And my famous co-host, Anthony Aiken, is online. Good morning, Anthony.
Hey, Herman, how are you? And Miss Briggins, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, I tell you what, when the three of us can see each other and talk to each other, that's a great day. And it's so happy that to be with you. And it's always a pleasure to be with my good friend Herman. That kind of thing. So, we're going to have a great day, and we appreciate you being on WCEG Talk Radio today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and let me do our disclaimer. The topics and opinion are those of the show hosts and guests and not WCEG Network. We are a nonprofit organization, and our business office number is 404-490-8646. Again, you can contact us at 404-490-8646. And before we get started, I'm going to read the bio of our guest today that has many skills, and she definitely can help us help veterans. So let me get started. Veronica Briggs is founder of Soldiers Solution. Soldier Solutions started as a direct result of my search for employment after separating from the U.S. Army. While serving, I received extensive training in risk assessment, problem solving, developing more than average work ethic, advanced skills, sets, bachelor in human resource management, and much more. And with many skills, I figured that finding employment would never become an issue. I found out that finding employment in my field or any field close to HR would be difficult. I applied for numerous positions countless times and remained struggling to find work in my desired field. As most would, I started to become frustrated, and with the search, I started thinking of this happened to me. I wonder how many more were facing the same obstacles. Then I reached out to a few of my military peers, and they also were experiencing the same issue. Therefore, I knew I wanted to be part of the solution. Next, I started attending job fairs and networking and applying with staff and agencies. And I'm not going to read the rest of it. We'll talk about that as we go. But Anthony and myself have been doing this for 6 years now, and that's issue we address almost every show we have is transitioning from the military into civilian life and getting the company's organization to understand
You know, before we get started in that, I want to say that, you know, when I read her bio and her background, one word that popped out in my mind was perseverance. And for her to gone through the trials and tribulations of getting out of the military to try and find employment, but then had enough tenacity and foresight to see it through. I don't know if you know that poem or not, Ms. Briggins, but you should look it up. See It Through by Langston Hughes. That poem is really strong, and I know it's a big motivator in my life. And it kind of centered me on you because you persevered. University of Phoenix, the whole 9 yards. You thanked them online for helping you get your degree, and then having a focus to come back full circle to support soldiers in your business. So I just want to salute you, as we say, for a job well done. Job well done. We salute you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to tell you, it never is easy, but it's required. And I always thought, if not me, then who will do it? And I'm not perfect, but during those times when I was looking, I felt terrible. I felt like I served my country. I have all these skills. I have a degree. I can do so much more, and I can't even provide. I can't even get a simple job, and nobody can understand my background, what's going on, you know? And with that can lead us down to a road that nobody wants to go through.
Correct. Well, you know, when there's adversity, you become very, very, very intuitive and inventive because you got to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So your survival skills and intuition comes through, and you're motivated to see a better day. And that, you know, that's what got me with you. Understanding your trials and tribulation of leaving the uniform with all of the skill sets, all of the money that the government has put into you to make you the right soldier for the job. And you come up with your DD Form 214 in hand saying, hey, I've served my nation. I'm skilled, I'm trained, give me a job. And you run into roadblocks. Sound familiar?
Oh, very familiar, very familiar. And the thing I learned is I had to take a step back because I was just like, well, what's the issue? What is the deal? You know, this is crazy. You know, and then I asked my peers, and you know, a lot of them weren't in Georgia, but I just started getting online asking, hey, are you guys having these issues? You know, we went through everything that they told us when we were, you know, processing out, and what's the issue? Yes, that tap. And I was like, dang on it. And so I was like, you know what, when I took some extra courses, I have some friends that are hiring managers and everything. Let me tap into them and start asking them questions and seeing what's really going on. So that's when I decided to start connecting with who's who in businesses. You know, I started networking in human resources networking groups. Any and every place that I can get to, I started networking. And that's when I found out they are seeing our skills, but they don't know how to read it. So when they get it, they actually do this, like kind of, you know, put it to the side. They see that they see US Army, or they see that we serve. but they don't get it. And with our jargon, we have to learn, yeah, they're teaching us in TAPS how to say certain things, but it's still not working in the civilian workforce. So that disconnect, that's where I step in. And so I started the companies that I work with, I also teach them and encourage them, hey, this is what a sergeant does. This is what a specialist can do. And then I'll also show them, the words that, are used and everything in case they may come across another resume. So I'm always encouraging to look at my guides. I have guides for them and I'll meet with them on a weekly basis. And that's why I encourage people, when you're with staffing companies, use someone that's going to advocate for you. Like when I used my companies, they advocated as best as they could. But when you have somebody who's walked in your shoes and know exactly what you're going through, to me, that's the best advocate for you. I've been right there. I know exactly what you are going through. And I want the best for you. I want you to go out and be able to make an impact in your community. I want you to be able to go to work and appreciate and feel like you're doing something. I don't want you to be understaffed.
Your story is so reckoning. I had a very good friend that was a captain in the United States Army, and he was leaving, and he was in Germany, and he had this young female in his unit and a young male, and there was an incident where the young female got involved with some type of a sexual assault kind of scenario. So her father came across from the States, Chicago, to Germany where she was, and met with the unit commander, which was the young captain. And he said, you know what, I really appreciate the way you handled this case. When are you getting out of the military? He said, well, sir, I don't really know, but he said, well, here's my card. I want you to keep me in mind. And when you get out, give me a call. Well, as it turned out, even though he handled the case well, his battalion commander didn't think he handled it well and gave him a terrible OER. And before you know it, in 6 months, he was out. So he found this card again and he went to Chicago and he met with this gentleman and he said, I'm so glad you're here because I think you can help my company. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, I like your business acumen and how you did things in the military. Come to our meeting. So he went into the meeting and the company was so disjointed. It was crazy. So what did he do? He brings in an operational order, an op order to this to this company, whereby he just went through the operational order, just like you are helping these folks now to get them to understand the jargon. And he helped them understand communication, supply, logistics, command and control, the whole 9 yards. And the company changed overnight. So what you're trying to do now is helping these companies understand that jargon and understand the value of it, because thousands of dollars has been spent on Ms. Briggs and Mr. Anderson and Mr. Aiken to do what we do for them.
Let me ask you a question. Considering times and hopefully situation change with time, do you see any improvement today versus what was happening when you first started? Is there better communication? Are the companies and organizations more open to trying to understand the transition and the skills transition?
Well, the companies I see an improvement. From when I first started, I was trying to get my foot in the door. There was one organization that kept telling me, oh, we have a military recruiter, we don't need you. And I asked, and I kept at it, and I was like, well, when did that recruiter serve? No, they didn't serve, but they are military trained. So therefore, I just kept pushing and kept pushing until there was a time I was able to have a meeting with that company. And come to find out, they just really didn't have all the information that they thought they knew. And I wasn't trying to put them on blast or anything. I just simply wanted to help because their company could use veterans because of all of the tech that veterans have. You know, the tech industry is great for veterans. And I was just like, this would be a win-win situation for everybody. Your company is good, but it can be better. And I know that veterans are an asset anywhere that they go. So with the companies, a lot of the companies that I work with, I have seen an improvement that they are willing to listen and learn. They're open to it.
So if a Anthony Aiken or Herman Anderson goes through TAP and we get out of the program, we've either retire or we are discharged, honorably discharged, and we come to him as Briggins, what would you say to that person, us, things we need to do to get ourselves in line for possible employment outside of the uniform?
Well, first of all, I would ask you if you really want to work. That is a necessity because when you're coming out, some people need a break. And I tell people when you're coming out, take your break. You've earned it, take your break. So if you're ready to work, let's get on it. But I do ask if you're ready to work. Secondly, I ask, where is it that you see yourself working? Where do you want to work? What have you done? I ask about your skills. I look at your resume and we talk in depth at least 2 or 3 times because I need to know what your likes are. Where do you not want to be placed? Because I don't want to place you somewhere where you don't want to be placed. What are your salary? What do you want to make? All of that good stuff. And being in a place like Atlanta, I need to know what area you want to work in, everything. But I really need to just get in your head because it's all about culture as well. You have to be in an area, in a company culture that fits you.
So in essence, Anthony Aiken and Herman Anderson has to do some research before we come and talk to you. So you have a better understanding of where our heads are.
Yes.
To move forward. So we need to do something on our own. I agree. Take that break. I did not do that when I retired. I retired on 31 March 1999, and I formed my company on 1 April 1999. And it wasn't until a year later that I said, whew, you know what? Maybe I should have taken 6 months, just to reacclimate myself outside the uniform into civilian attire. So I agree with you on that.
Let's talk about 2 different situations. Someone that maybe they finished high school, they went in, they did 2 or 3 years, or they went to college and they went in and they did a couple of years. So they 20 between 22 and 25, and they did maybe 3 years in the military. Then you have this other person that did 20 years and they retired. So when you see those 2 pictures, when they walk in the door, what different type situation are you dealing with?
Well, I don't look at anyone differently because I know if you're coming to me, you're looking for work. There's this terrible thing out there called ageism that I hate. And I think I was one of those, a product of one of those. So yeah, I don't look at age or anything. I simply look at, do you want to work? What are your needs and wants? I want to be there to help you so we can make an impact on this community.
Ageism. Is that still prevalent today?
Very much so.
Wow. So gray-haired individuals like Herman and I, we're out. Regardless.
No, there's something for everybody. I'm telling you, because I just placed someone that, the company, they didn't want to go with them, but I had to let them know this is your most loyal person you're going to get. A lot of them, and I hate to say it, sometimes the younger generation, they may be there for a year or two and they're going to move on. We see it all the time, but sometimes we are looking for a place just to sit still for a while, and we will be loyal in everything till the end. We're not looking for the next job, and people will tell you in interviews what they're looking for. And if they're telling you, they're looking for X, Y, and Z, and you can't provide that, then that's a sign that they're going to be looking for something else very soon.
Okay. That leads me into something else. Okay, they come to you, Herman and I come to you. We've gone through TAP, and TAP has given us, that supposedly leap forward to get out. And when you're in TAP, they're even talking to you about, and I went through TAP 23 years ago, so it may have changed now, but they were helping you with your resume. So Herman Anderson, Anthony Aiken comes to you with a resume. Do you see that resume is aligned properly for that person like Herman and I to go out and get employed? And will that resume tell the story of what we've done? Or is it too military related? Or you have to switch it around to make it comfortable with some HR person looking at you for a job?
So I went through TAP in 2012. And when I presented my resume, I still needed help. So when people are coming to me, their resume still needs to be revised. And so I think, and my thing is, and I say this to so many organizations, we need to be able to be in a place where we can help our they're getting ready to become veterans. We need to be in that space before they hit the civilian world. We need to be in that TAP room. You need somebody, and please don't be mad at me, but usually those TAP instructors for the resume writing are just, retired people who just came right back and then have no time in the civilian world. And they may not know either. They may just be following it. You need somebody who really knows. And it starts there.
So you think now, since like I said, I went through it 23 years ago, and Herman may have gone through at the same time, a little later than I did. But do you feel as though that TAP program, the way it's structured now, is good in helping with the transition from the military to civilian job?
We all can use a little bit more help.
Have you been able to have any influence or contact with the transition assistant program to give them some of your insight? And then if there's something that we can do from our end, from WCEG, to help you in that regard?
I've been trying. I've connected with the Small Business Administration because they are connected well with them, and they're trying to get a meeting with them. And I've been connected with Boots to Business for a while here, for a couple of years, on another subject, but they are trying to set up a meeting with us so that we can have a sit-down conversation about some of the things, about the disconnect. So hopefully within the near future, we can, make that happen.
Well, I'm sorry, Herman.
In a place like Metro Atlanta, and throughout, and you have opportunities at different levels. No, logistics is huge in a certain price range. But when you get to looking for jobs in middle and upper management, what do you see in that for veterans or even for non-veterans? somebody is 40 years old, they decide they want to make a career change. Do people get pushed back?
Well, I haven't seen too many pushbacks on that. I know a couple of colleagues that have just started new positions in management. So I think it's all about the presentation and how they're presented. If they're presented, in the right way, they can be looked at and received well. So there hasn't been too much pushback from what I've seen, what I've put through, and it's also about the connections you make with hiring managers and all as well, because when they have trust in you, they know you're going to send the best.
Well, I tell you what, I have trusted you to the point that we hope. I see you have Matt and Ryan jersey in the back of you, so maybe you could get some people to help the Falcons.
I don't know if I'm that good.
As soon as I saw that, I said, "Oh my God, she can help the Falcons out."
I don't know if I'm that good. That's a mighty big ask.
I'm just impressed with your tenacity, honestly, because it's not easy out here.
It's not. It really isn't. And people may think it is, but it comes with a lot of work. And there's times where I have to step and kind of like make myself take a day off just to gather my thoughts so I can come back and be refreshed, because it's real easy to get burnt out.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what I found out, because I actually spent 4 years in the Air Force. Then I got out and I worked in corporate America, AT&T and Lucent and the telecommunication industry. And networking and relationship building is key. Once you get started, you like you say, you have to grow it every day. You get phone calls, and today's environment, email, texts, that's a big portion of it. So do you think, because I know I'm pretty sure you're aware of Vetlanta, that group of people, and most of those people they were military, but they also was executive at Coke and UPS and so forth and so on, Delta. So they kind of operate at different levels, and it's like anything else. It's hard to crack the ceiling. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I actually have a really good relationship with the board members of Atlanta. So
Right.
So I actually like what they're doing, trying to be a resource to everyone. Do you guys like it? Do you guys see anything that can be, done better?
Well, I actually like it, and I communicate with about 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I do think maybe they could. I don't have the answer, so it's just a thought that I've told them is some of the younger guys, the younger people that are getting out of the military, if they're not career type, they should be more open to them.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah. It's a very intimidating thing too, getting out of the military. Do you find that because some individuals getting out really don't know what they want to do, just like you said, you need to find out, 1, do they want to work? And 2, if they do want to work, what do they want to work in? What area? There's so many different skill sets in the military. It's almost just like a flip from the civilian uniform, from the military to civilian uniform. But like Herman said now, telecommunications or those are huge. So do you find most of the younger folks now wanting to get into social media related things, telecommunications, those kind of things?
Well, it's quite funny because a lot of them that I've met, the younger generation, they cannot, if they have not been able to find employment, they have started their own companies. And I'm just like, way to go.
Yeah.
And they start their social media with their social media platform and they go from there.
I about 3 or 4 years ago, I was at this car wash in Atlanta off of Cascade Road. And there were 2 gentlemen having breakfast at this car wash. And both were veterans. And this young man said, I make money just sitting here eating breakfast. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, I'm involved with social media. And I have gotten to the point that I've been able to have people to come to my site and advertise. And he said, I'm sitting here making money for every time someone clicks onto my site. It just takes a little thinking and understanding the platform. And like I said, this is 5 years ago. The platform has changed 100 times since then. And I know my son and others are so much into technology that you can communicate with someone, like he's in Atlanta, and he's speaking or communicating with someone in Australia, sharing information and making money.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, I had one of the members from, I'm also an ambassador with another nonprofit organization that helps veterans scale their businesses. But she was telling me about that same exact thing that you're speaking of. And I was like, goodness, I'm in the wrong market, because she runs a branding and marketing company. And she just told me how she just started doing that. At first, she thought it was kind of iffy, but in one night, she made over $2,000 while she was asleep. And I was like, goodness, what is wrong with me? I'm doing the wrong thing. I was like, you're going to have to teach me so I could put it on my website. So yeah, that younger generation, some of them are just really, they're the ones that are like, I can't wait. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and do it and make it happen. And I'm proud of them.
Yeah. If you have that drive to succeed.
Yes.
And that's what it is. I believe in that. A lot of folks say I'm crazy, but I believe in that Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror. Everything starts with me.
Mm-hmm.
No one else. It starts with me. So if I don't have that drive, that tenacity, the insight, the foresight to sit down and see it through, it's not gonna work.
It's not. No, it's not.
Do you get any inquiries from people young, middle-aged or whatever, about the Small Business Administration, how to get funds to start up and navigating that system?
So I work closely with the SBA, and I know offhand that they don't give out any money. They do have loans. And I actually have them come. I have one of the directors come and speak to my cohorts personally, so they can be well informed about the resources that are available to them. So I'll be glad to share his information with you guys. But I do know they do not give out money. I know a lot of people think, oh, the Small Business Administration gives out money. That's not true.
I agree.
Because where do you know where they are going to get any organization that's just going to give us money? And also with those grants, few and far are something that we will be able to receive. You have to look at the fine print when you look at those grants, because a lot of them are for people that are making 100,000 to 3 million already. So when I tell people, when they say, oh, this grant is available, look at the fine print first before you fill out anything, because you don't know where your information is going or anything. Just make sure you're looking at the fine print before you put any of your information down.
Well, that's really where I was headed, is not to spend a whole lot of time chasing grants, funding, where you're filling a lot of paperwork and you're putting a lot of energy in it, and the results are not going to be good. I know that from experience. So,
Oh yeah,
It's like in the military. I'm going back there again because that's my base. Understanding the rules of engagement. If you understand the rules of engagement and say working with the SBA, because for 14 years, my wife and I, we had an engineering company after retired. Did extremely well. Did work all around the world. But we needed to understand the rules of engagement, and started with the Small Business Administration. I agree with you 100%. The SBA does not give you any money, but they will lead you to where you can get the money if you have a solid business plan and a solid financial management plan, that someone in the government is willing to give you a contract if they have a feeling that you can understand how to manage the project and manage the money.
yeah.
If you marry those two together, that spells success. And you will continue getting on business and business and business. So for 14 years, we did business around the world for a lot of government agencies and a lot of private agencies, but we needed to have a solid financial management plan, a solid management plan, and understood how the VA, not the VA, but the SBA functioned. That's important.
Very important. And that needs to get out, because a lot of people are, starting their businesses already thinking, hey, I have people coming up to me all the time. Hey, where do I go to get this money from the SBA? We're veterans. We could get it. And I'm like, no. It doesn't work like that. I don't know where you heard it, but I don't know what Barrick lawyer told you that one, but it's not true.
You also get a lot of communication, emails from everywhere telling you, because you're a veteran, you have this, and you end up chasing it.
I used to tell them again, and I found this out from one of the old guards in the SBA. It said, don't be a bumblebee that tries to pollinate the entire rose bush. You can't do that. You need to pick 10 to 20 bushes that's going to supply you every day. So you take that same principle, and I want to deal with 5 to 10 companies in my skill set that I can go at consistently. And I'll go back to the word that Herman mentioned earlier, relationship. It took me almost 5 years to develop a relationship with one organization in the federal government before I won a contract. But it took time. They needed to know, can I trust him? Can he do what I need to have done? Because anytime you win a contract, you're actually saying to them, I can fix your problem. Just like you're doing with your company. I can fix your problem if you understand and follow the rules.
Let's take just a short break to remind our listeners. You're listening to WCEG Talk Radio. We are your worldwide community empowerment group. Like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Today we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also watch us on your smart devices at WCEG Talk Radio, WCEGTalkRadio.com, and a couple of items that I want to cover. Number one, I have a nonprofit. My nonprofit is Veterans Helping Veterans. We help veterans get their benefits and understand their entitlements, which is focusing on medical, dental, housing, and all the opportunities as a veteran that you have earned. And on October the 9th, Chairman Turner of Clayton County is having an international ball, And this year he's partnering with my organization, and the benefits of that will go to veterans helping veterans. And to get more information about that opportunity, you may go to www.chairmanturnersball, or you may call 770-369-1228. Again, 770-369, that's 4228. I'm having problems seeing. But that is, and one other thing, September is Suicide Prevention Month. Every month is Suicide Prevention Month. So please reach out to a veteran that maybe you may think that need help, or someone just to keep in touch with your buddy. Those are things that we have today on WCEG Talk Radio, and we'll go back to dealing with veterans today and helping people get employment.
Yeah, that's the key right now in helping veterans, male and females, to get employment too. But do you find that females are having more of a difficult time finding employment coming out of the military than males? Have you seen that, or is it vice versa?
I have seen that. And it just breaks my heart. Females in general, we have it's a lot harder for us to kind of almost do almost anything, but in the workforce, it's really hard, getting advancement, any of that is just like, it's so much harder. And it was so much harder for me to thrive or even feel like I'm somewhere in my business, just because it was like I wasn't taken seriously at first, as a female. I've had people come to me and say, well, this guy has the same company, so why would you want to even start one? Why not? I feel like I can offer this and I can offer that. But the thing I had to keep telling myself is, don't listen, that's competition and they do not want you around.
Well, let's say, for instance, a young lady, and now we have females across all spectrums of the military. Before, females were not involved with combat arms types of units. It was just strictly combat service support. But now you have females in all types of combat related units. So we're talking about a female getting out and she's building a resume. And they said, well, what have you done for the last 5 to 10 years? Well, I worked in an artillery battery company. And my job was to make sure that we had munitions squared away and ammunition, and the big guns are ready to roll, rock and roll. So now that female is getting out and she has that combat related background, how do you flip that, or how does she flip that on a resume for someone to even want to pay attention to her, even though she's highly skilled and trained?
But we have to think about what career field she's wanting to go into first. We have to see where she wants to go. If it's corporate, then we would have to do a lot of flipping, but not too much, because you have to think, the military, from the beginning, they're teaching you how to lead. They're teaching you how to be a team player. They're teaching you, you have this thing in your mind where you can learn to do a job like that. So we have accelerated learning skills. We have to hop onto all of those other skills that are given to us. So we have to think about other skills as well. But we're not going to diminish the skills that she has.
Yes. Yeah. Totally understand. I was just giving you a scenario because that's real world.
Yes.
A lot
And-
of folks are going to be coming back from Afghanistan.
Mhm.
Been in that area for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. And now all of a sudden these individuals are coming back and they were all combat related MOSs. They may be suffering from PTSD and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Yet they have to adjust from the green, the blue, whatever branch of service they're in to try and put on a nice suit or a lady put on a beautiful dress to go out for employment. And I think that's extremely important for that transition and understand, what they're going to have to go through.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's just very important that we also focus on all of the skills that they've been taught in the military as well. See, a lot of people don't think about that, but those skills are the skills that employers are looking for. Those are the things that are missing nowadays.
Well, let me not. It's not a question. It's an opportunity. Is you when if today or if when you where you are today in your life and your company, your organization, if you had the opportunity to take the next great step in your mind, have you thought about it? What would it be? What the next opportunity are you looking for?
The next great opportunity, well, I've always looked for is to be that direct connection for our separating military members.
Great.
I want to have something to do with that because I want them to get out and feel comfortable, but they're going to need it takes more than a day or two. It really does. And those interviews, you have to get people used to speaking.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get them used to speaking.
Correct.
Because it's totally different in the civilian world.
Well, that's what I learned. They taught me you were in Chicago in this. You going up to a 40-story building, so you're gonna be on the elevator with this guy for those few minutes. So you need your elevator speech.
Yes.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, Herman. You're right. That elevator speech to the point that Ms. Briggins is going to hold CEO Herman Anderson's attention.
Yeah, and to some people that can be intimidating because if you've been in the military for so long and now you're going to the civilian world, I mean, that's intimidating. You're not going to be that same person. So you're jumping into a whole new place, and that's scary. Although people may not want to admit it, but that's a whole culture shock.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it is a big culture shock.
Yeah,
I remember going to a TAP program in Frankfurt, Germany, in 1979. I think it was maybe 80, and we were at the big Intercontinental Hotel in Frankfurt, Germany. It was a TAP program. And this gentleman was from somewhere in the States, and he was giving all of these officers an hour or 2-hour briefing on transitioning. And they'll say, like, I know you gentlemen love the military. And when you get out, there's certain things you can and cannot do. Number one, you can't go out and buy a nice suit and still wear military shoes. Number two, you can't use the Skillcrafts pen that the government gives you that costs a penny. You need to get you a pen. Number three, the high and tight haircut may be good in the uniform, but it's not good in Chicago or in Atlanta. And number four, get to understand the point that you need to keep a notebook inside your breast pocket. And when you meet someone, write the name down, because it's going to be very important for you the next time you meet this person to say, hey, Mr. Anderson, good to see you again. Hello, Ms. Briggins, it's good to see you again, because now you're developing and switching a culture that, those are do's and don'ts. And I tell you, that's a transition in your mind. Because every day you woke up, you're going to wear their military shoes and their military boots and the uniform, and you're going to go to work with other peers and feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're flipping and you're dealing with people in suits, slacks and pants, and ladies in dresses and in a skyscraper, or, you're not going to the mess hall.
but
You're
that's
going downtown for lunch.
but that's why transition is good in it. And if it's done the way that I think it should be done, it should be done so you get the culture change. You start dealing with the government officials and the corporate American people that you want to become part of their culture. So you do it by repetition. I mean, you learn that in the military, you learn it in sports, repetition. You do it, and every time you do it, you get better at it. So,
you got to practice. You got to practice that 30 seconds elevator speech, or, you must have two good things going: oral skills and writing skills.
Oh gosh, yes.
If you don't have those two, transitioning out, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you got to do that, Michael Jackson. I'm Michelle Jackson. Look in the mirror.
Well, presentation, communication skills, oral and presentation skills is big, because when I went to college, I majored in engineering, and if you major in engineering and math, one of those things, presentation is not the top item. It's whether you can pass all of the math courses, whatever. But you go to work for AT&T, in a few years you're fine working as an engineer, but you reach a point where you got to convince people that these numbers mean something, and they're gonna make some money, and they're gonna sell something, they're gonna accomplish something. So presentation and communication, oral and written, like you say, is important for everybody.
Extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stress that during your talk with someone transitioning?
Yeah, that's why I said earlier that I have to speak with a person at least 2 to 3 more times, because speaking, especially if they're, this is their first time, or they've been away, they've taken some time off, especially if that's the case, because it's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important that they feel comfortable and they're not, all, strung out and scared to speak, because when that happens, they're going to just say the wrong thing from the beginning, and you don't want that. You don't want them to feel intimidated while they're interviewing.
Yeah.
I want them to feel strong and know that they can do the job, and prove to them, I am the person for this position.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We got to give Vivian Greer a nice salute for having you come on our show today, because you're bringing a lot of knowledge to our listeners, real world knowledge of what they should consider and do making that transition. Do you agree with that, Herman?
I agree with that 1,000%. They're a good team. So we will be having Veronica back, and Vivian, Veronica, and Tiffany. They're all part of our team.
That's it. One team, one mission makes it work. One team, one mission. So I just want to thank you. And, we always have to give a little shout out and kudos to our Queen Kahuna, Ms. Penny Rogers, for having the vision to start this WCEG network almost, going on 7 years now, Herman?
Wow.
Yes, we're working on 7.
Going on 7 years. And you're just one of the many outstanding guests we've had on the show. And I must tell you, you're outstanding.
Oh,
We
thank you.
really, really appreciate you. And I will be directing folks to your Facebook page and wherever else. So if you got any alibis you want to tell people about, how to contact you, anything, like, this is your opportunity to give us your 30-second elevator speech.
Okay, so so right now, my website is being redesigned, but it should be back up by tomorrow. So you guys can reach me at www.soldiersourcesolutions.com. But if you guys need to get in touch with me about any jobs that are going to be listed on there, or just need some guidance, or just want to talk about anything, please reach me out on my personal email at veronica@soldiersourcesolutions.com. I'm just here to make an impact on this veteran community, not only veterans, but anyone needing to be placed in employment. I just don't like to see people getting underemployed. I just want people to know that they do not have to, do a job that they do not want to do. Everybody just know your worth and know the job that you want, you can get. And if you need a little bit of help, I'm here. I'm your advocate.
Well, as I told you pre-show, is you're part of my network. So you're on my call list. So I'll be referring people to you, veterans and non-veterans, because I get them on a weekly basis. I'm not gonna overflood you, but
overflood me.
And one other thing, we have a friend of mine, Anthony of mine, Reverend McGee, who is a Vietnam veteran, and he has a Vietnam veteran. He's the chairman of the Vietnam Veteran Chapter here in Atlanta. He has a project going on. It's Sons of Atlanta Memorial for Vietnam Veteran, and he's raising funds to build the memorial. And the website is sonsofatlanta.org. SONSOFAT son SONSOF Atlanta.org, or you can call Tony Merritt at 404-822-2056. The memorial will be in Piedmont Park, and it's a fundraising activity that's going on now. And hopefully it is in progress. It's been approved, and it will be going up soon. So.
Again, Ms. Briggins, thank you very much for being a guest on our show today. We hope that our listeners learned something and that they will reach out to you, and I'll even refer others to you, because, you're like the Phoenix. You came from ground zero to where you are now. And it's all because of your desire and your dream and your passion and your perseverance. So again, I salute you.
I salute you back.
Appreciate you.
Well, thank you. We thank our producer, Vivian. And as Anthony mentioned, we thank our founder and owner, Penny Rogers. So everyone, have a happy, safe Friday. Get vaccinated, and it's time to take flu shots. We want to keep everybody healthy.
One team, one mission. Thank you.
Thank you, and you will become part of our team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.